Welcome back to The Watch, and before we get into things, we really appreciate everyone who watches these videos. And if you want to keep seeing more of them, then we'd love for you to like and comment and basically engage as much as you can in these videos because it brings us back up to the top.
Yeah, and it actually does legitimately help the video get noticed by the algorithm. And so especially subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We would love to have you join us here. But everything else is considered an interaction.
Yeah.
So comment for the comment's sake, but we love to read your thoughts as well. Liking and great.
All other good stuff. And if you are able to, heading over to Patreon Subscribe. That way we can be more independent from YouTube and ad revenue, and it means we have more freedom to do what we want and not having to be so concerned with the algorithm in general.
Yeah, exactly. One of the ways in which YouTube can try and strangle out content it doesn't like on its platform is by unprioritizing it, because if we're reliant on the ad revenue, well, and we're not getting, we don't have the security to keep paying everyone, and we have to look for different work and stuff. But if we can become secure outside of the ad revenue thing, well, there are other platforms in which we can still flourish on, which you can get the content you want, okay? And that's what we're trying to build towards. And so Patreon and Subscribe Star is the main way you could support us at the moment. And thank you to everyone who is. Okay, so this is an interesting video, but it's a result of seeing signs more and more lately.
I've seen some very blatant ones recently that don't really...
Yeah.
So it's right on the wall, but it's a bit too clear for my liking.
Yeah. What are some of the... Well, before we give the examples, basically, not only Disney, but Disney is on the forefront now, wants to try and raise our kids for us. There are things that it feels you kids need to know, believe, and adopt growing up, everything that it's going to take upon them to teach. Because it doesn't believe parents, one, have the right to raise their kids the way they want, and two, doesn't agree with the way that many parents are raising kids. I'm conservative, I'm religious as well, and so there are values and important things that I want my kids to understand growing up that Disney disagrees with, so they're going to try and take it upon themselves to do it.
And there are things... Right now, being newlywed, one day I'm going to have kids, and there's stuff that me and my wife watch that is obviously we think is pure and innocent and lovely, like, oh... kids would love this one day, and then I actually do watch, and I'm terrified, and I don't want them to be on the internet or anything.
Yes. Literally, it's gotten to the point that anyone who is a parent or wants to be a parent, you need to understand now that you can't trust them with this. As a parent, I am not kidding. I've gotten to the point where I've had to parental block Disney kids on their devices. I could not even, even the content, and maybe this should have been obvious, I should have figured this out early on, but the content that was supposed to be G-rated for kids and everything like that, safe for kids and stuff, no, they will inject what they want into kids' media as well to try and counteract, and it's just to show parents need to be so vigilant. And so I've literally had to do that. They can't watch anything now, basically, without my pre-approval. I mean... It got even worse at a danger moment at one point in which I don't know how it happened. I think we assumed that there was parental locks on everything, but one of our kids must have gotten one of the other tablets or anything like that and started surfing Netflix, not in kids. Yeah. Luckily, nothing went too far, but that just... You have no idea how much that affected me. The fact that it's so friggin' easy for some of the most innocent among us to be exposed to some of the most vile, degenerate crap. I can't... And it gets, you see, even in advertisements, it's just even billboards and crap. The world is so adamant in trying to corrupt, and not the world, but the worst among us are so adamant to try and corrupt everyone to be like them. Misery loves company, all that stuff. And so much so that we're going to have a different video talking about this type of corruption in a more broad sense, where this is more focused on kids media and what's happening with Disney and some of the examples that we're seeing. So what were some of the specific examples you've seen recently?
So my wife watched this Disney movie because growing up she liked Disney Channel, and so she has a fond nostalgia for Disney movies, and there's this new show that came out. I forgot the name of it. I feel like I need to look it up. But it's like High School Musical, but there's zombies, werewolves, and aliens.
Okay, yep.
And in the most recent movie, there's a non-binary alien who is romancing one of the other characters. And the way that they portray messages in the show, I was like, holy
But also
crap.
what they're trying to normalize. This is one of the biggest issues. This comes to some fundamental issues because one of the biggest things Disney is doing is what they call their gay agenda, where they are injecting and pushing LGBT media themes in kids' content to a massively invasive degree, okay? This isn't a quote. There's been someone who works for Disney who actually legitimately said that they are putting gay in everything. Now, this is the thing, okay? I don't have an issue with people living the way they want to live. In actual fact, I would fight to the death for that freedom, okay? One of the fundamental tenets of my faith is the freedom of choice, and protecting that freedom of choice is essential, but that does not mean I believe every single choice is equivalent. I'm going to teach my kids and encourage them to grow up into the lifestyles that I believe will give them the most happiness. That's my prerogative as a parent. Absolutely it is. And of course I believe in traditional values and things like that. Look, if one of my kids end up having issues with either gender dysphoria or same-sex attraction, I'll love them the same no matter what. But the fact is, the LGBT community are so convinced that there is an element of nurture that can affect people indulging in different lifestyles, okay? The fact that there is so much higher, actual results of people either having gender dysphoria or same-sex attraction from those households, children being raised in those households, has a shockingly high percentage of that versus conservative households, shows that nurture does have a part in it, okay? And if there's any influence that I can help my kids grow into the life where they can actually find someone they love and conceive life with the person they love, that there's so much happiness and joy to be found in that. I'm not discounting the wonderful blessing of adoption, which is incredible, but I think we understand there's something uniquely special about that relationship. And it's also the fundamental underpinning relationship of the human race, all right? So, I mean, no matter the way you look at it, all right, traditional relationships help grow the human race better. I'm not saying other relationships can't help, or benefit society. I actually think they can. But the best, most efficient way is, of course, the traditional wholesome household. Children being raised by a mother and father, okay? That's what I want to encourage. That's what I want to instill in my child as the normal. And if there is some stuff outside of that, they need to understand where the exceptions are. That's the context. Exceptions and normality is important in children's minds specifically because children will naturally gravitate towards what is normal. And then if they are, special, unique, whatever, they're individuals, okay? And they, because there are many things that I'm outside of the box and not normal. People are individuals. And if they end up being outside of the box in any other way, I'm going to embrace and love them no matter what, okay? But there is an element of influence. And instilling what is normal is very important. And guess what? Disney knows this, LGBT community. Why do they think they're trying to shift the normality, what is normal in the world? Because they want the world to reflect their way. This isn't about inclusion and acceptance. I'll teach my kids to accept everyone. I accept everyone so long as they're not harming others or taking away the freedoms of others, okay? You love and accept them and you don't discriminate. Well, actually, sorry, the discrimination thing gets misunderstood because for instance, I was very discriminating in choosing the wife I wanted to marry. Okay? If there were certain people that didn't achieve my list, I would discriminate against them and not date them. Okay? So, of course, a level of appropriate discrimination is needed in proper judgment and everything like that. But I'm saying for immutable characteristics and other things like that, for, representation under the law, treating people good and everything, of course, that's where you don't discriminate. All right? I think that's obvious, and I'll be teaching that, and that's what I practice as well. The false lie that this progressive movement, Disney, is trying to say is that unless you embrace and not only celebrate, but promote it, you must promote it, you are a bigot. That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that all this narrative, all the LGBT, agenda is not only equivalent, and I don't think I can be fully accepting, you can be fully accepting by acknowledging the difference, saying that there is not an equivalence here between a relationship which can conceive life and a relationship that can't. There is a biological non-equivalence there, okay? These things actually aren't equivalent, but the lie is then that you would then be discriminatory against people who are in different... That's the lie. It's not true at all. I would not discriminate against people in other relationships. I'm friends with... Of course I have friends that are gay and everything. I have friends that are trans as well and all that stuff. And I get along really well. These sometimes can be really good people. Or they can sometimes be crap people because they're just people, okay? So this lie that people are pushing is this, that if you don't accept it as equivalent, and even further, if you do not celebrate and push it, you're a vile, evil bigot. That's bullcrap. Don't accept it, push back against it, embrace tradition. That's the thing. But that's what Disney's trying to do. They are trying to normalize stuff to influence kids. And this is why there's an issue for conservative parents like me between, say, a straight kiss and a gay kiss. Okay? There is one type of relationship I want to, not only because it is normal, it's the normal, guess what? The normal biological, relationship for the human race is men and women. We're biologically, literally made to go together. Okay? That is the normal state of biology and reality. Okay?
It's true.
That's it. All right? And so that should be taught to kids. Absolutely. Like I said, it's this lie about this must be done, otherwise people won't be treated fairly. That's bullcrap. No, people can be treated fairly under the law and all that stuff. And the fact that they are so aggressive and, crazy aggressive against any resistance to that, and calling them vile bigots, homophobes, all that stuff, goes to show you that, no. This isn't about just equality, all right? It's about supremacy. They want power. They want to subvert many traditional values. Because this is what confuses me. If they want acceptance, why aren't they pushing for acceptance, but they're pushing for promotion to encourage more people? And it's not about embracing who you really are, okay? They want people who aren't only the slightest gender dysphoria, the slightest same-sex attraction. They want them to just embrace it whole. What if it was only the slightest small bit? Technically doesn't mean that they're more straight than they are gay. No! Embrace it! I mean, the fact that they tried to accuse me, a straight man, of saying that I find gay sex repulsive as homophobic, it's what are you trying to do then? Okay, because the reverse isn't true. If a gay person found straight sex repulsive, that's fine, but it's the reverse. So it's not about equality and equal treatment, it's about promotion and pushing something further, that I need to be okay with gay sex.
And it's funny, actually, someone commented on that.
When I say okay, yeah. It's people have free choice. They can do what they want. When they say okay, they're okay for me is that I could have it thrown in my face, and if I have any normal reaction like any normal straight person would, that's homophobic. It's what? That's literally saying there is something wrong with being straight. You are bad for being straight. Just having normal straight reaction to that. Wrong. Sorry, I did cut you off what you're saying.
Someone said something really interesting. They said anything sexual where there isn't any attraction is repulsive. Yeah. So kids younger and stuff, when they think of sex, they go, "Oh, that's gross, disgusting."
Yeah.
And so
guess what?
Lines up with your thing being
people sucking on feet and tractor feet. I get the same reaction. Of course,
if you're not attracted to it, you're going to find it disgusting.
That is normal. Yet people literally attack me as being a homophobe for just stating a blatant fact, and that shows the bias and the agenda. Because that would only be the case if there is an agenda on display, where they don't want equal treatment or acceptance, they want embracement. Okay, they want it to actually be pushed further. Why? Look, people have been trying to subvert their nuclear family for ages. Okay, there is a lot of subtext and reasons for all this. We won't go into that. We're just sharing it is happening. You can see the blatant contradictions on display, and Disney is they are open about it. Admittedly, they celebrate it to the point where they want to parents, you're bigoted, you're homophobic. If you encourage any traditional lifestyle, that's all bigoted and homophobic. So much so that we're going to force it. Try and get it under the radar, try and do it blatantly sometimes, and hide it and squeeze it in. And for instance, the Baymax show is a perfect example. And not only, also they're trying to sexualize kids at shockingly early ages. When I say sexualize, exposing kids to adult concepts of puberty and sexuality way before they should be exposed to it, okay? If a kid is even taught about sex much earlier than what they're ready to, that legitimately increases the likelihood of them indulging in those activities early on because they're familiar and they know what's going on or even how to do it, okay? There's a reason why you teach kids about this stuff when the stuff starts to naturally manifest normally. If you inject it earlier, they want to sexualize kids earlier. This is why people get accused of being groomers and stuff. Because the sexualization of kids at a young age is terrible. And the fact that kids are having sex at a younger age is horrifyingly bad. Okay? Oh my goodness, early pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy, and all that stuff. This is not good for individuals and societies in any measure. Like, it's actually important for society. If you want a better society, lesser unwanted pregnancies, more stable households, to have stable incomes, like literally, if you want better tax revenue, even back to then, to have stability, all that stuff in society, it goes back to finishing school, not getting pregnant before you're ready, like they're ready and everything like that, having a full-time job and all that stuff, and you can avoid poverty in so many ways to do that. And if you have a society of most people avoiding poverty, guess what? This society flourishes as a result. These are broad, overarching effects that are happening. Sorry, you look like you're going to say something.
I'm just having realization moments here.
Truth bombs, baby! It's true, though.
Yeah.
This is absolutely true. And so, if you want to benefit just society, you should be encouraging, basically, abstinence until you're ready to have children, at the very least. I'm more traditional, abstinence before marriage, and practice what you preach. Did not have sex until I was married, and I have been blessed so much as a result, okay? And at the very least, you should not be having these types of sexual relationships with anyone unless you're prepared to have children with them. Because guess what? Sometimes protection contraception doesn't work. You need to, that is the real reality of these things. And if you are teaching sexual just because it's fun, get into it, especially kids at shockingly young ages, one, I think you're encouraging pedophilia. Okay? Like, encouraging kids to have, understand sex and then be exposed to sex and actually at a younger, okay? And it's not okay that kids are doing it with each other as well. 14-year-olds should not be freaking having sex. But by exposing these adult concepts to them early on, it is grooming. That's why conservatives are pushing back against this. And so in Baymax, they have episodes where the entire episode is around the context of a girl having a period. Okay? A 6-year-old is going to be watching like, okay? And then it's like, what's a period? What's it related to? Everything, snowball effects, of course. And there are heaps of gay relationships as well. There's one that's saying, and then there's about tampons and stuff. And this is just one thing against the whole larger thing.
You can see how much it's progressed because you look at like Big Hero 6, the first movie. There wasn't anything. There wasn't even any romances really in that movie. There was nothing. And now Baymax's TV show, every second episode's just all about sex.
Seriously, what's their thought process? I think we should have a whole episode framed around the concept of a girl having her period. Why do you think parents are not going to be teaching girls about that when it's their appropriate time and prepare? Why does Disney think it's their responsibility to even raise the concept? It shouldn't be. And the fact that they are so arrogant to think that, kids need it's not your place, Disney. Friggin' know your role. To the point where Disney is garbage. Parents should not let their kids watch this crap. And I'm and there are some old school Disney things that are still good, that actually share traditional values and are uplifting and stuff. Back when Disney had a soul.
Had tradition. There was a social norm that was a bit more traditional.
Yeah, but there are some great old school Disney stuff that I still want my kids to, experience and enjoy. Like, my daughter loves princesses, and I want to see princesses be saved by princes, things that teach girls to be girls, boys to be boys, and to embrace these wonderful things, because it's wonderful. Women are amazing, men are amazing, and they do amazing things for each other and society. And I don't think women, so much often, the narrative is that women need to act more like men because being a woman is enough, and I find that so insulting to women. No, being and men are toxic and bad, and they need to act like women. Okay, and they're seeing this shift. And that's terrible. It's messing up people's heads. And to fight back is teach kids to love who they are, and boys to love being boys, girls to love being girls, growing up to be mothers and fathers, and they will be happy. And of course, there's going to be exceptions, okay? But that doesn't mean the exception needs to be imposed on everyone else. And when there's exception, you embrace and you love them as you always would, especially as a parent. Disney's friggin' vile these days. And it's not only Disney, by the way. Look at Netflix, look at
Cartoon Network and all the other kid channels and TV shows and whatever else.
So Disney wants to raise your kids. Don't let them. Don't let them get away with it. And it would be to the point now that if I wasn't a reviewer, I would I'd unsubscribe, delete it all. You even got off Disney Plus completely.
Yeah, they're not getting my money anymore.
Yeah. And this is why streaming is a bit crap, because if you, the classic DVDs, and we've got the DVDs, it's like you can get all the good classics and you don't have to be exposed to the crap. And hey, if you want to watch a good classic, old school, family-friendly Disney thing, there's a DVD right there. And Disney has been changing problematic elements in their old school media and stuff. Yeah. You get the classic as it was meant to be. Because usually their problematic things is their woke agenda saying, oh, this is bad and all that crap.
Yeah, they're being toxic.
I watched Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. Mm-hmm. The old school one, I didn't even know was a remake of a black and white one. but it's that goes back in the day. But I was watching the old school Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse one, and it came up with this friggin' annoying disclaimers like, this reflects things that our beliefs and traditions that we don't necessarily agree with, and when you watch it you know why, because they're getting shipwrecked, right? And the mother's like, I need help to get onto the boat, help me, Joe, help me, son. The sons are helping the mother and everything like that. and then I love it. This is great, right? Because guess what? Guys usually do fare a little bit better in survival situations, just the reality. And so people understood, it was obvious reality back then, okay? But this is problematic. You can't show men supporting women in times when they're in an environment in which it's harder for them to just get buy-in. And guess what? The inverse is the reality as well, okay? There are areas in which men do not perform better as women, and then women take the lead, absolutely, okay? But in this survival situation, you might understand why. And at one point what's the classic Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse? It's a blast, okay? There's a moment where the two brothers want to explore the island, they go off, and they... Spoilers, but this is old, so anyway, hopefully this will carry.
You've had how many years to watch this?
They come across pirates robbing a trader ship, and there's a captain and the first mate, and they go on to save them, and they end up saving the first mate. And this first mate, it's kind of obvious when you're watching, it's pretty clear, but he's bumbling, he's not holding his weight, he's not keeping up, and the two brothers are getting really annoyed. It's like, this guy just is useless. And it turns out he's a girl, pretending to be a guy, so basically the pirates didn't take advantage or anything like that. And when the brothers find out, they're gentle, and they're helping her down the rock faces, going through the things, doing all the stuff. And it does show this girl being pretty useless, which in most situations, that would be the reality. Okay? Stronger guys handling things, fighting like anacondas and stuff. And the girl's struggling a lot. That's problematic now. You can't have men, being gentlemen to women in these day and age. How sexist is that?
So sad.
It's sad. It's a sad state. Men, be a man and be a gentleman. Treat women with respect, okay? Open the door for them, do all the stuff, because the genders are different, all right? And there's a responsibility that exists with men because men are bigger and stronger. And as a result, we bear the heavier burden sometimes. It might not be fair, but we can handle it better. That's your role as a man. Be a man and sacrifice. And that's the fundamental themes between both femininity and masculinity. It's actually sacrifice to perform the roles that you are capable of doing better because of your inherent natures as either a man or a woman. And men, when it's protecting and providing, we will sacrifice and do that. Lift the heavier box, open the jars, open the doors. But those are just small reflections of a larger obligation for men to step up and do what really needs to be done when the Titanic is sinking and you protect the most vulnerable among us. And for women, it's a matter of sacrifice as well. In creating environments that nurture life and making sacrifices to help do that because they do it so much better than men. And not only actually just nurturing real life, the life that they are able of creating, but creating environments in which life can flourish, okay? Women, there's actually generally a trend that women are better psychologists than men because they're better at listening and things like that. They can be great authors. Women, look at Jane Austen, because their understanding of human character nature. One of the most amazing things that amazes me about Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, is her understanding of character. She understands people And her ability to write dumb people so authentically is amazing. If you want to see some of the most incredible works of literature where dumb people are written so perfectly realistic, you read Jane Austen. She because you can tell she is a very smart woman, and she grew up around lots of dumb people, and she knows it. Like she was drawing from experience. Oh man, Mr. Collins. Just look at how Mr. Collins is amazing in Pride and Prejudice. And so, yes, what I was saying is femininity is about sacrificing. Yeah, maybe it is sacrificing career to raise a family, but generally it's actually not much of a sacrifice because that gives them more happiness in the long run as well, in raising children, stuff like that. But men sacrifice to provide and protect, and women sacrifice to nurture and grow life. Those are our roles. And boy, there's this almost biologically thing encoded in me that does it release endorphins, happiness, chemical, I don't know, but when I fill that role, I feel amazing. Like when I can look at my domain, my home, really, and see a secure home that I've been able to provide for my wife and children, holy crap, it means the world to me. Is it like I'm sacrificing to do that, okay? But my wife, when she is holding this little one, she just, like when she has, when our children are young and just holding them in her hands just made her feel, she loved just snuggling with these little ones. And it is an amazing feeling, but my wife got a lot out, like more out of it than me, where there's this little one that just feels 100% protection, comfort, and security in your arms. And that is an amazing feeling where there is this other life that does not question its ability to be safe in your arms. It's an amazing thing. And I hope everyone can experience that. Okay, I'm getting sappy, but it's true. It's true. So the whole takeaway about the society, old school media understood this, and that's what they're trying to subvert in the modern day. They don't want these really important values. And what's sad about this, society is built upon this. If you want a stable, strong society, you need this. You need men and women working together, embracing the things that naturally they do better than the other. That's when you flourish. When you have people trying to do the jobs that they are not equipped to do well, we've seen, like, you can apply that outside of just the situation. Things go under. And look at modern media, right? Where they're hiring people not based on talent, but on agenda, and they're just delivering garbage as a result, and they're going under as well. Okay? It's all tied together, and it wraps up in that takeaway message is they want to subvert that. They hate those things because of, and it's all a power game at the end, because they want power, people who are not able to succeed in traditional ways because usually of their own, failings and stuff. So they'll claim to be victims, they'll claim that there's this thing, and then they want power out of subversive ways, and then, yeah, that's the whole push. Don't let them get away with it. Don't let Disney raise your kids. And that's it, I think. Yeah.
That's it. So as always, stay and watch.